What's up, everybody? I know it's been a while. My bad. Look, my bad, man. I had to take care of some things, but hey, we back. What to do, y'all? It's your boy Elijah James from Elijah James TV, and today I'll be bringing y'all another NFL breakdown. Today we'll be looking at Week 7. It's a Week 7 matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders, and I'm really excited to break down this team. Y'all know my team is the Cowboys, so I'm very familiar with both of these teams. I ain't gonna even hold y'all. I didn't even take no notes for this breakdown. Like, I know both of these teams like the back of my hand, so we can go ahead and get into it. Before we get started, make sure that y'all go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure that y'all go ahead and subscribe. Make sure that y'all leave a comment. You know I love to argue, so if you want to talk to your boy, let me know, and I'll jump right down in them comments to talk with y'all. Make sure that y'all also follow my Instagram at Elijah James TV, also on YouTube, obviously, and then my TikTok is easy_1K. But speaking of my Instagram, man, y'all funny. Y'all real funny. I have been sneaking in the Cowboys to be a game that y'all want me to break down, and so many of these polls, and I think y'all are like purposely avoiding them. So fuck it, I ain't doing no poll this week. I'm just picking the damn game. I'll do a poll for next week, but for this week, I'm doing this game. So today we'll be taking a look at, obviously, the Cowboys taking on the Commanders, going over to AT&T Stadium. The Commanders are currently 3-3 right now, sitting second in the NFC East behind the Eagles, while the Cowboys are third with a 2-3-1 record. So it's a very interesting matchup. Everybody has beaten each other in this division so far. Like, the Eagles beat the Cowboys have beat the Giants beat the Eagles, and I think the Commanders beat the Giants. So it's all over the place. That's why I say this game is very important for like the long run to see what happens when it comes around playoff time. So first, let's go ahead and start with the Washington Commanders, because as much as there are NFC East rivals and I'm supposed to not like them, I do actually like what they do got going on. I like Dan Quinn as the coach. They got new management, and they have turned things around really quickly, and it's all because of that one man, Jaden Daniels. And I'm a big fan of Jaden Daniels ever since he was at LSU. Like, he's a Heisman winner, and he's been putting up good numbers, but now he's getting into his sophomore year. So we really gonna see what he's doing, and I'm not gonna lie, so far, it's been iffy. It's been iffy. I can't really grade him too much because he was hurt, and the last game was his first game back. So we gonna see how the rest of the season shakes out. But even before the season started, I told a lot of people, I think he was playing above his head in that freshman campaign, bringing his team to the NFC Championship. Hey, kudos to him. He balled out, but I think he was playing above his head. But don't get me wrong, he did get some big win. He did get a big win not too long ago against the Chargers, which is a really big win. And he showed a lot in that game. He showed some poise. He made some great throws. He connected with some receivers, and he used his legs only when he had to. That's one thing I like about Jaden Daniels. I'm not gonna lie, I've been telling people this for the longest now. Jaden Daniels is literally a bootleg version of Lamar Jackson. Like, let's keep it a buck. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. He's still good. It's just that you could see, like, if I was a defensive coordinator and I was game planning for Jaden Daniels, I'll game plan for him the same exact way I'll game plan for Lamar Jackson. Like, they literally have the same game. They can kill you with their feet, and then they can also make them throws as well too. I just think that obviously with Jaden Daniels being the younger man, that you can catch him off guard a couple of times. Then if you look over to the receiving core, I think the receiving core is okay. It's a little slept on, but it's some of the names is kind of like eh. Like, you got Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. He's a Pro Bowler. We know what he can do. You got Deebo Samuel that came over for the 49ers that we know what he could do. But I ain't gonna even front. I like Deebo. I like his game a lot, but is it just me or that boy looking a little chunky? That boy, he put on some weight with the Commanders, but I ain't gonna lie, it hasn't really affected what he's been able to do on the field. So I'm just talking shit, to be truly honest. But that boy look a little thick. I ain't gonna lie. That's a thick boy. You also got Noah Brown, who I'm very familiar with. He used to play with the Cowboys. I think he's really underrated. He had that big catch last year with the Commanders against the Bears in that last second winner. But I think he's a really slept-on receiver. He's not one of those big names that you know off the top of your head, but I think he's actually a pretty good receiver. And then at tight end, you got old reliable Zach Ertz, who's actually quietly been having a pretty good year at tight end. He's still got it. Ever since he was with the Eagles, I think Zach Ertz has been one of the more reliable tight ends in this league, especially when it comes to like fantasy football and all that type of stuff. But Zach Ertz, he's the safety blanket for Jaden Daniels. So a player that I do want to talk about that's kind of been underrated, but people are starting to know his name is Ja'Cory Cross-Kemare, also known as Bill. I'm gonna call him Bill because I think he's nasty. He's a dog. He's only a rookie, but you can see ever since Austin Eckler and a whole bunch of people got hurt in that running back room, he had to step up, and I think he's done a damn good job. Like, I'll give props to where it's due. He's a north-south runner. He's not gonna do all that side-to-side BS. He's gonna get the tough yards. He has breakaway speed, and he can break some tackles as well. And he can catch out of the backfield, which is useful for Jaden Daniels, especially when he starts scrambling. Quick dump off, and you got your boy. But I like Bill a lot. I like what he's bringing to that run game. And speaking of the run game, I want to talk about the Commanders' offensive line. The offensive line is literally the definition of like, eh. Like, they're literally eh. Like, they're not the best, but they're not trash. Like they can get a push when they absolutely need it, but they're not one of those dominant offensive lines. They give Jaden Daniels just enough time to be able to throw the ball, but if they're playing against a decent D-line, he might have some trouble, but they're going against Dallas. He ain't got nothing to worry about. I'll get to Dallas' defense in a little bit. But anyways, yeah, I think the offense is pretty solid, but it just seems like it hasn't woken up. I feel like it hasn't reached its full potential yet. Granted, it's only week 7, so we'll see. I think there's a lot to be seen from this offense, and we just have yet to see it, so we'll see what happens with that. Now, for the Commanders' defense, I think their defense is also Like, that's my whole description with this Commanders team. It's just Like, and they could very well turn up, and I could look stupid, but I don't know. It's just nothing's jumping out for me with this Commanders team. Like, before, it was Jaden Daniels making all the heroic plays, and they was doing their thing. But this year, it just seems that they're 3-3. That their record is Like, but when it comes to their defense, they have some decent pieces over there. Like, they have their D-line, which I think is pretty solid, led by Von Miller. He's been jumping off my screen when I watch tape. You also got Bobby Wagner, who's also leading that linebacking core. Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP, actually. And, he's just a tried and true vet. So, I think their linebacking core and their defensive line is okay. However, though, against a good offensive line, I think they struggle to get to the quarterback just a little bit. I seen it mainly in the Chargers game. They got to Justin Herbert a couple of times, but there were a lot of plays where Justin Herbert had all day to throw the ball. He had plenty of time to throw the ball. So I think that's going to be an issue with the Washington Commanders defense, especially with the Dallas Cowboys offense and how explosive they've been. Another thing about this defense as well, their corners aren't really that good, man. I'm not going to lie. Like, they give up a lot of big plays or a lot of crucial plays, like those third downs that you need to have as a defense. They give it up a lot. I think they can get by. They do a lot because the offense makes up for it. So I kind of mask it a little bit. But I think if you're going against CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, Kevontae Turpin, so on and so forth, I think them DBs are going to have some trouble. I'm not going to lie. And I am speaking from a strictly football standpoint. I'm not even being a fan. Like, I'm strictly talking ball. So now that we're done with the Commanders, let's jump over to the Cowboys. And, man, where do I even begin, bro? Oh, my gosh, the Cowboys piss me off. Like, I don't get the Cowboys, man. 1 second, they in a tie game with the Green Bay Packers, and then literally a week or two later, they lose to the Carolina Panthers. Like, bro, what type of shit even is that, man? Like, I don't get it. While I'm doing this breakdown, y'all don't mind me, I'm going to get on my little soapbox. First and foremost, I want to give credit to where it's due. I'm not the biggest Dak Prescott fan. I don't think he's bad, but I don't worship him like some other Cowboys fans do. However, though, he's balling. He's playing out of his mind. I'm not gonna lie. If it wasn't for Baker down in Tampa, I think he would be leading. He would be a leading MVP candidate. I know he's only 2-3-1, but you have to think about what he has to do to keep these boys in these games. We have absolutely no defense. This man Dak has to put up 30 points minimum for us to even have a chance in any of these games. And he's been doing it great. He hasn't turned the ball over like that, which has been a problem and an issue for me with Dak. But outside of maybe, I think, a pick or two, he hasn't been turning the ball over like that. He's been making the right decisions, and he's been making huge plays. Like the main play that comes to mind is that deep ball that he found Tolbert with in that Packers game that kind of got them back into the game, because before that, it was kind of over. I do like the addition of Javonte Williams. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't really high on him when he was coming to the Cowboys because I seen what he did in Denver, and it was just like, okay. But ever since that Eagles game where he scored 2 touchdowns, maybe 3, I think it was 2 touchdowns, he's been balling. And with that O-line, you got all of those Tylers. You got Tyler Booker. You got Tyler Smith. You got Tyler Guyton. And Guyton, that man be pissing me off sometimes. He low-key be getting way too many penalties and be costing some drives. But you got a good O-line that Javonte Williams has been running behind and also has been protecting Dak. So this offense has been flourishing. I'm not going to lie. And then we got to finally see George Pickens be George Pickens. I've always been a fan of George Pickens. Even when he was in Pittsburgh, I don't care about all the on-field antics of him. Don't get me wrong, like, it's obviously dumb to get a flag in certain situations, but I think that gives him an edge. I love George Pickens. In my personal opinion, and I got some coworkers that I work with that are also Cowboys fans, I'm more of a George Pickens guy than a CD guy. I'm not going to lie. I feel like CD be a little bit too cute. It's like, bro, catch the damn ball and give me the yards. Which he does, don't get me wrong, but I feel like he be trying to be too pretty most of the time. George Pickens is a dog. He don't give a fuck about all that pretty shit and all. No, bro, give me the ball and I'm going to go slap somebody across the face as I'm running out of bounds or something. I seen that play against the Panthers. That shit was hilarious. But speaking of CeeDee Lamb, they finally do get CeeDee Lamb back after that nasty ankle injury that he got against the Bears. They also get to Kevontae Turpin back, who's also been a sleeper receiver. I really like him. I think they need to get him the ball more. I think if they find a way to get him the ball in the slot, it's going to open up a whole lot of other things for CD and George Pickens to really get this offensive pass game going. Got Jake Ferguson. I think he's one of the upper echelon tight ends in the league, and him and Dak seem to have a really good connection. Dak's like Dak, ever since Jason Witten, Dak has loved throwing to his tight end. So I'm not worried about Jake Ferguson, but he's a great tight end. I say all that to say about all that. I say all that about the offense, about Dak and George Pickens and CD, all for it to come down to this sorry ass, soft ass, 30-point given defense, man. Golly, man. Before I get on to the defense, I want to say something before I continue. We would love to have Micah back, but we don't miss Micah, man. Like, Micah, he obviously was a great pass rusher, getting to the quarterback, cool. But our weakness is our run defense. We seen what Rico Dowdle freaking did to us in Carolina. Like, bro, you ain't never ran like that one game as a Dallas Cowboy, and you picked that game to freaking go off and be fucking Emmitt Smith out of nowhere. Bro, it always happens. The teams, the players that used to play for the Cowboys, I always wanted to play for the Cowboys, they always fucking snap on this, and I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but it's like, damn, bro, like, relax. With this defense, man, like, it's terrible. I think it's the worst defense in the league. I'm not going to lie. And it's irritating because they have the pieces to be good. I'm not going to even hold you. Trayvon Diggs, washed. Trayvon Diggs is washed, man. Ever since that injury to his knees, he's been washed ever since. And I like Trayvon Diggs, but, bro, he's washed. I'm sorry. Deron Bland, I never thought he was good. He had that 1 year where he led the league in, like, pick sixes or interception or something like that. And if you want me to be honest, I think that shit was a fluke. Not even gonna lie. He was only getting those pick sixes and them interceptions like that because people kept trying him. Hey, he ran it. He made the plays. He caught the ball. Cool. But it's like, bro, like, you keep getting tried. And we seen that he got burnt a few times. I think in the Packers game, Matthew Golden just straight up mossed him because they knew that he was the weak link on that defense. But you still got Marquise Bell. You have pieces on this defense for them to be good. Why they are not good, I have no idea, man. Like, that's one thing that I can't, as much tape as I can look at, I cannot break that down. The D-line is soft. Linebackers, I don't know. Our DBs can't cover. Like, that's why, and that I say all that to say that's why I give Dak so much credit. Like, while he's scoring 30 points, the defense is also giving up 30 points. Like, I honestly thought that we should have won that Packers game. Even though it was a tie, that's still kind of a W in my book. But we should have won that Packers game straight up. But because of our sorry-ass defense, the Packers was able to get a field goal range, kick a field goal, and we go into overtime. We can't stop shit. Like, why is the final score to that game 40-40? Like, that's ridiculous. You cannot be giving up 40 points in the NFL. So now that I'm off of my soapbox, I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest. I've been waiting to talk about the Cowboys, so I apologize. Now that I'm off of my soapbox, now who do I think is going to win this game, and how am I breaking this game down in my head? So when I picture this game in my head, I think Jaden Daniels and that offense, they're going to get their points because, like I said, Dallas defense is ass. But I don't really think Washington's defense is that good either. So points is going to be put up. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I could see our D-line semi getting after Jaden Daniels because I feel like after you watch tape on you getting your ass whooped by the Carolina Panthers in the fashion that they did, I think that you go back into the meeting room like, all right, bro, we got to clean this shit up. On top of that, they're going to be playing at home, so it's going to be a little bit more sense of pride. Like, I said it to somebody while I was at work. Although they gave up 40 points, the defense made plays. Although they sucked and they was giving up big plays and giving up yards, when the plays needed to be made, they did make those certain plays. Those gotta-have-it plays, they did make them. And I don't know if that's because they're at home or whatever the case may be, but in flashes, the defense do what it needs to do outside of giving up 40 goddamn points. As for this offense against Washington's defense, I think Dak is about to have one of his better games that we're going to see this season. You get your full receiving core back. You got a run game. You got an O-line. And you got a Washington defense that really is like okay. You got to worry about Von Miller coming off of the edge, but I think Dallas's O-line is going to hold up pretty well against this Washington team. They held up pretty well against the Eagles, and I think the Eagles' defensive line, or at least their front seven, is a little bit better than, Washington. So I think it's not really going to be an issue for Dak with getting pressure. And I think Javonte Williams is going to be able to run the ball. My only concern, or my only question mark, I should say, is what is the receiver dynamic going to look like with CD coming back? If you want my personal opinion, I think you got to treat CD as the number 2. He's coming back off of an ankle injury, and this man George Pickens has been balling the hell out ever since he's been gone. You need to get Pickens the ball. And in my personal opinion, I think CD puts up the numbers, but Pickens finds a way into the end zone. And that's what we need in a game like this. We need to put up points. Like, okay, cool, a 50-yard gain is cool, but if we can't get into the end zone and we only settle for a field goal, we can't have that in a game like this. It's going to be a high-scoring game. And I say all of this, keep in mind, I usually do these videos with some notes, like behind the camera or whatever. Like I said, I know both of these teams. I've been keeping up with these teams for all my life, and especially with Jaden Daniels coming into the mix, like anything NFC East, I'm on it as a Cowboys fan. So with that being said, who I got winning this game? I think when you factor in the fact that the Commanders are going to Dallas and both teams kind of know they got to have it, but with Dallas being behind both the Eagles and the Commanders, I hate to be this Cowboys fan, y'all, but I got to roll with them, man. I can't be fake. I can't do a prediction video on these boys and not pick them straight up. I think the Cowboys going to win this game. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I think Dak is going to have a good game. And I think this defense, I don't think they're necessarily going to stop anybody, but I think they're going to do enough to let us squeak out a win. So for my prediction, man, I got the final score being 30-24, Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys, man, I swear to God, if y'all make me look stupid with this prediction, I'm not breaking down y'all sorry sons of bitches for the rest of the season. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. But that's going to do it for today's breakdown. I really wanted to do this game. I think this is probably one of the more important games on the, Week 7 slate. There are some other games that I think hold some weight, but in the NFC East, I think this game is going to make or break either of these teams' season. I think whichever team loses, they're going to be, they got a lot of work to do. Whichever team wins, they're in the driver's seat, and they just need to take care of business against Philly and the New York Giants. Like I said, the Commanders and the Cowboys both have a win over them. The Eagles lost to the Giants now, but also the Eagles beat the Cowboys. Washington hasn't played Philly yet, so it's a lot going on in the NFC East. But this game is going to determine who is going to be competing with the Eagles in that division. So that's going to do it for this breakdown, y'all. Like I said, please make sure that y'all leave a like. Make sure that you leave a comment, and make sure that you subscribe. But more importantly, follow me on the Instagram at Elijah James TV. I keep stressing y'all, even though I've been away from the football stuff, still posting content. We got UFC. I've been hooking up with my boys over at Discussions and Conversations. We've been posting, we've been clowning. Just make sure that y'all go ahead and tune in and keep up with me. Like I said, TikTok also, easy_1K, where I'll be posting a lot of my shorts. just stay locked in with me, man. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, straight up. Like, I am sorry. I had some things to take care of. You know, I'm in school, so on and so forth. But we back on it now. Week 7, Cowboys versus Commanders. Like I said, Cowboys, y'all better not piss me off, or I ain't breaking y'all down for the rest of the season. But appreciate y'all. Make sure that y'all go ahead and check out my other videos. Got some vlogs and so on and so forth. But thank you. I'm gonna see y'all in the next breakdown. Peace.